This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Yesterday we discussed on the matrix report and also on calculated fields, how you can start it, and what are the different types of calculated fields. All these things we have discussed. Um, Let me just pick it up. I'm seeing only Tahira and Anusha. Okay. Yeah, I got the control now. Our report name was it RD:WP? I think we started creating as Logan McNeil. So we'll switch the profile, start proxy, act as Logan McNeil. Click OK. RD:WP calculated fields report. But by the way, any questions from the earlier sessions before we go ahead?
Pradeep, for the matrix report in the advanced tab, there you showed us a checkbox for enable save parameters.
Correct.
So what does that do?
If you have understood the advanced report, it's the same thing. So it's based on the filters. If you have opted for prompting, right? So you have the prompts that you give some dynamic values. When you are trying to run the report, every time you wanted to save the parameters. So instead
Okay. Yes, I got it. Okay, now I get it.
okay.
I was trying to do the matrix today, but when you did it, you were able to access all active and terminated employees in the data source. But when I do it as Megan Cook, I am unable to see it. I don't know why. Then I went in as Logan McNeil thinking maybe it's a security issue, but even then it just wasn't popping up for me, the data source. So I don't know if somebody's made any changes today or so
No.
wasn't able to create my matrix today.
Yeah. If you have noticed, if you have remembered correctly, there is a reason for that. So I'll show you why. Create custom report. So I'll tell you how you are doing.
Okay.
Create custom report. There is automatically a checkbox checked here. So optimized for performance. Your all active and terminated is not an indexed data source. So that is the one reason that you're not able to find it. So if you search for it, all active and turned, even I will not get it because
Okay.
it is not an indexed data source. When you uncheck this and try it, you should.
Okay.
So by default, it goes for check.
Yes. Okay.
So make sure that you don't check that checkbox. Yeah, you can try it from your side too.
Okay, now I get it. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Let's go for the report. RD:WP. Okay, let's go to the edit mode. Custom report edit. The two ways that we discussed were one through reporting. So through the report, you can create a calculated field, but that field will be only specific or limited to your report usage only. When you want to make it more generic or system wide, you go through create calculated field task. But if you go through this way, I'll show you what, which is the report name, calculated field for a report, right? So all whatever you're trying to create will be same, but the usage of this calculated field will be limited to this report alone. So that's the reason we generally create system-wide calculated fields. So how do you create? Go to, let's go duplicate this tab, and here I would say create calc field. So here it does not show anything regarding or related to report. So it's more system-wide calculated. When someone asks you what are the two types of calculated fields that you can create, two types means two ways of creating. One is through report, another one is system-wide. But if they ask you like how many functions are there, then you need to go for and say there are different types of functions like date functions, Boolean function, text, number, instance based. So all those things you need to set. And if they ask you within instance, like what are the instance based fields, you can say count related instance, sum related instance. So all those things you will understand. By the way, we started with format date. So I just put some date here, and all these are not related to date, but which deals with date, we can say. Format date is something which we looked yesterday, correct? By creating YYYYMMDD format. So that's the use of this. Now we'll go through few of the date fields and some base level calculated fields, and to mid level and to higher level. So we'll go in a sequence so that we understand the calculated fields one after the other. So let's say date constant, WP date. So this is going to be more of creation. So I'd be a bit faster. Whenever you feel like I'm going faster, just stop by. Worker. So we are creating for worker business object. So I'm choosing worker business object, and what I will do, I'll save all this in a notepad so that we'll do 2 or 3 calc fields at a time and run the report, because end of the day your notepad. Okay, yesterday we created one more, but that's fine. We'll keep it aside. File, save. So let's save it this way. Now click OK. So what is date constant? So we'll understand one after the other once we start getting into the details. So as the name suggests, it's a date constant. You're trying to put a date as a constant value. When you want to use that constant value in your report, you will use this function. It allows you to put date, which is a straight date date, whichever you wanted, or date time or date time zone. So we typically go for date. Majority of the usages are with date. Assume that I wanted to print the date as July 1st, 2020, right? Click OK. So I'm just here, there is no source, there is no requirement of source, because it is a constant value. You are creating something, so it does not need any other values or source to be taken. Click OK and done. So you can see create another calculation. By clicking on this, you can create another calculator field, or you can go back again and say same thing, worker. So we have just created one calc field. Okay, so now what we are trying to do, all constants will define. We've just done for date. So next, numeric constant, WP, click OK. So I want to put a numeric constant like 457 or something. This number is not present or given by Workday. Workday gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 100, 200, some numbers it gives you. But if there is a requirement that you want to put some number, right, a year probably, so you can go with this one. So number constant, click OK.
Pradeep, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks. This time we are using text constant, and so as I said, the text constants or the constant values will not change ever until unless you change it here. WY, WY, and text constant.
WP, I think.
Oh yeah, WP. Thank you. Oh, did we create WY by the way? Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, let's click OK. So initially it's pretty straight and simple. So I wanted to say that Opti or ADP. ADP is my vendor, so they are asking you to put ADP as the value for all the particular rows. Click OK. Now I'm trying to use these fields, whatever I have created in my report. Time and again I'm saying these are all constants, so all the constants value remain as is. So text constant, numeric constant, date constant. Your report is a carrier for your calculated fields. With the help of reports, you can use the calculated fields and see what the values are and how you want to show up. Just click OK. Try to run this. Run and see the results of all the employees having the same values on these constants. Maybe I want to restrict the data or something so that I can get some. So my date constant is 7/1/2020 for all the employees. Text constant is ADP and numeric constant is 457. Okay, now let's go for other calculated fields quickly. Create another calculation. I will say date. We did date constant. We did format date. So let's find out build date. There is a difference between build date and date constant. So let's say build date. You are building a date now with the help of some source fields or constants, whatever. Worker. So here you can build your date based on year, month, or day, and so on. So here it allows you to go for a constant creation as well. So if at all you wanted to go for a specific year, you can put a specific year here, say 2020. Do I have something like that? Yeah, I have 2020 here, and month should be from my hire date. From my employee hire date, I want to build that month. For all employees, I'm giving a specific year, but hire date and hire month should be from hire date. Or the month or her day should be hire date. Oh, sorry, not this one. So when you say specific, it's more of a constant value. So I'll say extract month from date field. So there should be a date field where you can extract it. I have a date field from worker, hire date. My requirement is to have month from hire date, day from hire date, but year should be a constant value. This is also I'm extracting from hire date. So understand that your build date can perform what you can do with date constant, but your date constant cannot do what your build date is going to do. So try to choose return blank date on error. If at all there is some calculation error in the midst while it does not hang around, it should give you the result. So it should give blank data. So for that very good reason, just select this checkbox. Click OK. That's your build date. Next, we'll see date difference. Worker WP date. So as the name suggests, it identifies the difference between two dates. So you need to give what is the start date, what is the end date. It can give you the result in the form of years, months, days, hours, minutes, seconds. Choose the written. So I want to select in years probably, or maybe in months I'll do. Okay. What is the start date? Start date is hire date. So I want to identify service years, how many years the employee is in the organization, from hire date till current date. So I'll say today. As of today, how many days? Click OK. So I'll quickly go back and try to edit my data. So it looks like the report is running long time. So custom report edit. I'll try to squeeze in some filters or whatever so that it returns fast. So I go to filter. I'll give the age as, instead of 18, maybe 45 years and above. And total base pay annualized amount is say 10,000. Okay, go to columns. I'm just making sure that I get some minimized data, minimum data. So let's go and add it here. We have two fields that we have created. One is date difference, or which identifies the service years, service months rather, sorry. And the other one being build date, WP. Okay, these two fields will validate. Click OK. Run it. So with calc fields, every time you need to run it to see what is the result as such. So if you notice, first thing, build date we have created. So our build date is 2020 is the constant value for every employee. That's a specific year that we set. So you can see all of them got 2020. And hire date, sorry, go ahead. Okay. Okay. The hire date and month should be fetched from your hire date, correct? 0101. You can see 0806, 0806, like that. And difference between the number of months from hire date to today. So it was, this person was hired on Jan 1st. Today, till today, he has completed 6 months. Till today, he has completed 18 months. Like that, it gives you the data in months. If you want it in years or days or months, all those different differences or service years or months, it can give you, as we saw it. So that's how you use it. So let's go back to our calc field. Let's go to some other calc fields. Concatenate text. Okay, business object worker. So as the name suggests, some of them are very straightforward. Maybe once you look at it, it's just general English, which means that it is concatenating two or more fields. That's what it means. So field name, WP concatenate text. Click OK. We'll just copy this. So what it says is how many ever fields you want to concatenate. First name, last name, middle name. So in some organizations, they wanted to show first name first, last name in the last, and middle name in the middle. So likewise. So you can add those fields here. We are fetching the fields from worker, by the way. So you can go and add, let's say, first name, first name, then you can go for middle initial, I'm not sure if the field is there. Yeah, middle name, and then last name. So you're concatenating fields. So the requirement is for us to show the full name. with the format that we need: first name, middle name, and last name. You can add this as a concatenate. So if some organizations may say that after middle name, I want a comma. I mean, different requirements, by the way. You go to global fields and add those fields. It's going to concatenate all those fields for you. Where is the comma? I don't know, maybe this is the comma. Yeah, possibly, whatever it is. Say okay. And you can add a space between middle name and first name also. That's a requirement, up to you. So you can use the leverage of concatenation of text how you want it. So that's concatenate text. Next, just quickly checking it. Number, or just let me say date, and see whatever the dates. Build date, constant, date difference, date format. Yeah, increment, decrement date is one more thing. As the name suggests, you are incrementing or decrementing the date value. Worker. We have just taken one example of hire. There could be different usages, as I told. WP click OK. I'm just doing 2 or 3 calc fields at a time so that we save time. Otherwise, we need to run every single time. So what is the source field? So here you want to increment the days, increment the months or years, whatever you want to do, or decrement at the same way. Hire date is the field that I want to do. So I want to increment every person with 1 year. Okay. Well, different usages. Some vendor may ask like that. So if you do 1, it's gonna add. If you do -1, it is going to subtract. So that is decrement and this is increment for you. You can do the same thing for months or days also. If you want to decrement 1 day, so you will say -1 here. If you want to add 2 months, you'll add it 2 here, like that. So I'll just try to add or decrement 1 year, okay, -1 year. And you can do the 1.5 month, 1.5 month, 2 days, like that. You can also do that as well here. Click OK. So right now we are just subtracting 1 year or decrementing 1 year. Create another calc field. Number. Let's see what are the numbers. Format number. Did we go for it? Yeah, not yet. So format number. So this is we have already went through this one. So I'll tell you how or where. Worker. So when I open that, you will notice it. What I mean. Worker. WP format number. So from this, after constant fields onwards, every single field will be looking for a source field, by the way. Only constants like date, number, and text constants does not require any source field. But rest of the other fields, whatever we have gone through, right? All the fields will need a source field. Click OK. What is a source field? It's talking about numbers. Okay, so I have my source field called total base pay annualized amount. I think I have that field with me. See, this is the total base pay annualized amount. So if you have noticed here, we have opted for some options like .000. I want 3 zeros to show or 2 zeros to show up, or I mean decimal points, by the way. Okay. Were you able to hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. I see some network issue or something. Okay. So it's showing 3 decimals. If I want 4 decimals to be showing up, where you should have selected, so I'll show you that. As I told you that we have already done that without calculated field. Custom report, edit. Obviously, those formats are available for your number fields like age, total base pay. Scroll down. This is what format is, right? Numeric constants, wherever you get to see, there you will see it. So let's select total base pay annualized amount. So that's my number field. What is the format you need? So you can see formats and options as well. All this is, you can correlate to this and that. So I want 4 decimal points or 1 decimal point. I don't want a decimal point at all. So all those things you can just choose it. But for namesake, we just took this. Options. You want to show some symbols or zero or currency code. I hope you remember this. We have done it already for here. Correct. So when you just see this, these options and format are the same thing what you're doing it here through calculated field. So decimal separator, if you wanted period or comma or some other value, you can just go for it. Otherwise, local. So however the preferences are, it will go accordingly. Click OK. Now we'll try to see these 3 calculated fields one after the other quickly. So now I'll just remove this so that we don't get into that. So I'll add this field here, format number, okay, and a couple of other fields that we have, increment, decrement, and concatenate. So I'll put it right after hire date so that we can see the fields. What is it? Concatenate text. All right, so with the 3 fields newly added, I'm going to run this report to see how my results are going to fetch. Run. So I see 308 items and increment or decrement date. So what did we do? We decremented 1 year. So from each of the hire date for each employee, you can see 1 year decremented, but the hire date remains same. Correct. So that's what we did. And concatenate text, we have done it here. What is it doing? First name, middle name, and last name. So here there are only first name and last name, middle name is not there. So that's the reason it just added comma in between these 2 characters. So we'll just try to see if there is anything that we have first, last, and middle name that's showing up. Yeah, I don't see something. No, that's not. Yeah, Adrian, comma M. So that's what concatenation is all about. So scroll towards the right. We'll see the formatting of a number. So this is how you wanted to format the dates, numbers, sorry. So 4 decimals we wanted, so 4 decimals we got it. Excuse me. So these are the 3 fields. Let's go ahead with other calc fields. So we did date, number, text. Is it all done with the text? Concatenate text, yes. Format text, substring text constant we have done, substring and length text. So text length is something which counts the number of characters in that particular string. Worker. So we are creating all these calculated fields individually, right? So maybe whenever you are creating your reports, you may use this calculated fields as part of some other calculated fields. So learning it independently to understand what each functionality or what each function does. WP text length, click OK. I want to know what is the length of my worker. So I'll just say worker is the field that I want to check. What is the length? Text length. I think we can't apply it for number if I'm not wrong. Let's see. Total base pay annualized amount. Because it counts the number text only. Total base pay frequency behavior. That's what I knew, but wanted to check quickly. Yeah, it doesn't go for any other than text fields. So let's say worker. Worker is a text field. So we're just counting what is the length of that particular text field. Next, we'll go for another calc field, substring. So here onwards, little medium complexity of calculated fields, substring, business object worker. So the scenario, I'll tell you what we are trying to achieve. Worker, WP, substring text. So we're going to use this substring text, click OK. Scenario is we have something called as marital status, correct? So marital status contains married, in the braces you have United States of America, United Kingdom, and so on and so forth, right? All that your vendor is asking is whatever is, I mean, they don't want the country name to be specified. They just want married, partnered, widowed, or single, or any other statuses, not country specific. They don't want the country. So you use substring to get these values. So now what is my field? Marital status. That is the source that I'm looking. Here you need to identify the delimiter. Delimiter is something like comma, semicolon, space, or open parenthesis, close parenthesis, or quote, or tilde symbol. All those are delimiters. So in this case, our delimiter is open parenthesis because we want the data whichever is before open parenthesis. So it says substring type, whether you want the data before a delimiter or after a delimiter or in between delimiters or a fixed position. Substring gives you all these options. You can explore it. So I'm saying before a delimiter. What is my delimiter? Open parenthesis, my delimiter. Before that, I need the data. If the requirement was to bring which country they belong to, this marital status belong to, so I'll say in between two delimiters. I'll select in between in that case. I'll go for in between two delimiters and it will say what is the starting delimiter, what is the ending delimiter. I'll simply go and say open parenthesis here, closed parenthesis here. Now my data would be United States of America, Canada, and so on. And my requirement here is now, sorry, my requirement now is to get only first character. I want to know whether it is M or P or S, whatever it is. That is the requirement asked by the vendor. So what you can do, that's fixed, one character only, right? You can go for fixed position. What will happen? It will ask you what is the starting character of the position. I'll say 1 is the starting character. And what is fixed length? So obviously my fixed length is 1 because I want the first character alone. If I want 5 characters, I'll say 5. If I want 10 characters, I'll say 10. Correct? So when I say 1 1, it's gonna give me the first character. See, understand, we are talking about 3 to 4 scenarios here. First scenario, if you want only married. Second one, if you wanted in between the parentheses, and if you wanted the first character. So all 3 scenarios we have covered. So I'll try to use whatever we were expecting. So before a delimiter, which delimiter we need to specify. I'll say go to global fields. These global fields are delivered by Workday. You can use it in any calculator fields wherever it is allowed. So open parenthesis. Direction, so it truly does not matter whichever way it is, backward or forward. So just select one. Without selecting also it should go for. Remove leading and trailing spaces. If there are any spaces that you encounter as part of your traversing, just remove that spaces. That's what you are saying. Remove leading and trailing spaces. Click OK. So that is your substring. Okay, so let's go for another calc field. We'll use that in our report, and I'll show you how it's going to be. Text length, text constant, substring text, format text, concatenate text, convert text to number. We'll see this also. So worker, and you have WP number. Click OK. Let's put it across here. Text field. What is the text field that you wanted to use? I mean the source field, by the way. So what does it say? As the name suggests, convert text to number. What kind of fields typically have text and you want to move it to number? So your employee IDs are the best examples, student IDs or some other number based fields which store text value, but they have the numbers. You want to convert them into numbers. So I'll say employee ID as a field, which holds numbers like 1003 or 20001, so on and so forth. So I'm just making that employee ID should be converted into number. Return 0 on error. If at all there is an error in the processing, just go for it. Let's say OK. So we'll use all these 3 fields in our report now. So by the way, we need to add employee ID also, because we are not needing to require a field to be present, but we just wanted to validate it, whatever it is fetching correct or not, right? So that is the use of adding the field, source field. So I go to custom report edit. Firstly, I will add the employee ID. So employee ID. No, this is already number text, by the way. Yeah, perfect. So it's a text, right? So we need to convert into number. Yeah, I just thought other way around. So employee ID is in text, T. I want this to be converted into number. So I use convert to text. Convert text to number. That's one calc field that we have created. The other one, which is length of your text. I said, what is the count of my worker? Length. I use this here too. So understand that we are using the source fields to compare our results or validate our results. So finally, we have our calculated field, string substring. We'll use it right next to our marital status. Click OK. So we'll see all these three calc fields, how they are looking out to be. Say test or run. All right, let's check out the length of the text. So it says Adrian M. So it's counting all the characters and giving me the count. That's one thing. And you can see the employee ID, which is in text format. Notice that the text formats are always left aligned. Text is always left aligned. This one. Whereas numbers are right side aligned. This is the number length, right side aligned. So it is converted from employee ID text to employee ID number. Right, so let's go down below. This is a number, so it's right aligned. That's one shortcut that you can make out. So we wanted substring excluding the country. So we got civil, partnership, single, married, and so on and so forth. All right. So let me take a pause and check any questions at this moment. Were you able to understand?
I'm good, Pradeep.
I'm good.
Sure. All right, let's go for a few other calc fields which started 15 minutes late. So I'm just trying to cover it up. Excuse me, create another calc. So now we'll go with the, so did we cover all this stuff? Date. There are some lookup values, so we'll talk about that later. Date, number, is to done, text, concatenate, convert, format, substring, text length. Okay, everything is done. Now let's go for Boolean value. This is also one of the very important field. So substring is also one of the majorly used. Next, format. Yeah, format date is one thing which you commonly use. True or false. That's one of the majorly used calc field. So it's pretty straight and easy. True or false condition. Let's say worker. Majorly your true or false is used in some other calculated fields. We'll see that also, how you can add, use this calc field in another calc field. WP, true or false. So we have been creating calc fields just to make sure that we understand what calc field we have used. Otherwise, we generally go for CF, TF, and so on and so forth. I showed you yesterday the naming convention as how you go about in your real time. Okay. So here it is asking for conditions. So we are not, I think we are familiar with the conditions already with the help of filters in our reports and with the help of eligibility rules in our compensation. So let's go here. I'll tell you the scenario, what we are trying to achieve. Do we have management level? Okay, there is something called as management level, correct? So it says whether the employee is a manager, whether the employee is an individual contributor or CEO or board of directors, that details it will give. So I'm just trying to understand each employee, whether that person is a manager or non-manager, right? So if he is an individual contributor, he is a non-manager, he or she. If the person is other than individual contributor, I would say that that person is a manager. Field name is management level. So there are a couple of fields: management level and manager level 01, level 02, like that. So those are manager names. This gives you which management level the person is in. There are typically 8 different management levels. The down below will be individual contributor and highest will be CEO or chairman. In the selection list, I would say individual contributor. So yeah, we can see the list of details. So what am I trying to see? If this person is a non-manager, click OK. So you can just right click to copy the text and then see. That's again a shortcut for you if you wanted to. Sorry. What happens? Oh, what happened? It does not like. I just did a Control Z. It wiped off everything. No, not good. Control Y. I'll say don't save because I have already saved it the last moment. It's a little strange. I hope whatever we have created, all that's fine, irrespective of what it is. This is the one, calc fields. Yeah, perfect. I know this happens. That's the reason I tried saving it. Okay, what happens when you try to save it like this is it doesn't give you the full. So it rather it does not select what you require. So it may select everything and things like that. Okay, we'll try to use this calculated field in our report. So your calculated field true or false will only return true. So you heard it right. Your calculated field true or false always returns true value, which means if it is a false value, it does not return anything. It just gives you a blank. We'll see that too. First of all, we'll add management level field so that we know what is the management level for each employee that we are working on. Maybe we can just add it here. Management level, and parallelly I will add the field, which is true or false condition. WP true or false. Hey, come on. True or false. Okay. So I'll just try to say okay and run this report. Notice these two fields. Wherever the person is individual contributor, it identifies and says yes. Otherwise, it says no. I mean, blanks rather. Oh, strange. Individual contributor, it did not give anything, which means our calculated field did not work properly, or some values are mismatching there. Okay, let's try to see if there is anything, at least some value, one value at least. Yes, there are yeses and nos. So let's try to see yes and filter. Ah, this is strange. It showed me some yeses. Remove filter. Is it buffering issue or? Yeah, okay. There is some problem with the calc field or the value in itself. We'll identify that quickly. So we said management level in the selection list, whenever individual contributor, then it has to say yes. I'll quickly try to see what is this calc field, this field and that field, so that I understand. So I go to integration IDs and say view IDs, just to verify or check if I have selected the correct integration ID, or sorry, the value of that. It says management level ID 8 individual contributor. This is a reference. Same here. I want to check. Or by the way, did we choose something else? WP true or false? Perfect. Same. We are on the same board. Integration IDs. View integration ID for this one also. See, whatever we have chosen was different field. Whatever it is acting upon is a different field. So yeah, as is suspected, that's the reason. So what we will do, we'll try to map it accordingly. That someone has created this individual contributor, the same name, which made us to believe that that is the individual contributor. So go to calculated field, edit. So whenever you change your calculated field, you don't need to add your calculated field again. So it's already there. So let's see what are the individual contributors that are options present. Yeah, notice this. There are two same names. You get, maybe sometimes fooled with one of the other calc fields or some other functions. So I'm just unselecting it. Now try to click OK. This is a best good example for you to identify how the thing's working. Now I have saved my calc field. All that you need to do is just go and rerun it. So now my mapping should be correct. So go in your real time, you don't see this many number of creations, because this is a training time. People create these management levels and all the same par with Workday. So let's say run. Now this time notice that all individual contributors will have yes. Well, it's taking a long time. Yeah, you can notice all the individual contributors yes. But if it is not matching, if it is not true, then it just leaves blank. It does not comment anything saying no or anything of that sort. It just leaves blank. See, director, no. Wherever individual contributor, for that row, it says yes. So we'll talk about the rest of the calculated fields and how we want to populate this value, if at all. We'll talk about that with other calculated fields in tomorrow's session. So I'll close the session today at this moment and we'll catch up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, right? So we have session, yes. All right, thanks guys. We catch you. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.